29th June 2018. This is Zulfikar's 9 children, and I'm going to conduct a speaking test. In this first part of the test, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself. Can you first tell me your full official name?
My valid name written on my passport is Sakib Jamal.
And what name do you want me to call you?
I would prefer Sakib.
Okay, Mr. Sakib, do you know the meaning of your name?
Yes, I do. That's a bit like of a sunlight.
Do you think you are Sakib?
Yes, obviously.
Okay, Mr. Sakib. Why do you think you are Sakib?
Because this rain name represents me and it suits me well, and with my attitude, with my gestures, with my everything, it goes well. So that's why.
Okay, Asif, let's move on to the first part of the speaking test. In this part, I'm going to ask you some questions about your hobbies and your interests. What do you like to do in your free time?
Actually, in my leisure time, I always like to do programming, which is one of my inner satisfaction by which I can get like whatever I want. That's the most powerful thing which satisfies me always in my leisure time.
Okay. Do you enjoy playing sports?
As being a programmer, I always had a bit of less interest in sports, as because that didn't suit me well, and I can't cope up with that.
Okay. What types of music do you like?
It's always a pop music which goes a bit of silence in background.
And do you play any musical instrument?
Yes, I can play two of the instruments. One is piano, grand piano, and another one is guitar.
Good. What sports or hobby do you like? Do you think you might like to try in future?
As I have mentioned before about programming, I would like to chase that one as my future job, and I would like to refer to such a thing that I will chase my passion for my life in my existing entire, though as much as long as I would live.
Right. Now let's talk about your likes and dislikes. Do you like to eat food from other countries?
Well, to be very clear about this, I'm a foodie guy as being, and I always like to eat at restaurants, which is referring to the thing about to your question that I always like to means eat outside of my home.
And what's your favorite foreign dish?
It's pizza, as being like I always prefer a sort of Mexican type. So with Tropicana, like that one, I would prefer always pizza.
Right. And what do you prefer? Holidays in foreign countries or holidays in your home country?
To be honest, it's always a foreign country, as like I always had the interest of roaming outside of Bangladesh, and most of the places I've visited in Bangladesh, so there is nothing for me new to watch. Overall, to recapitulate, it's a foreign country at the end of the day.
Okay. What do you like most about your country?
It's Cox's Bazar, one of the most longest sea beach of the world, and one of the might be in future one of the seventh wonders of the world. So it's always the Cox's Bazar, the sea breeze, and the beachy time, and everything. It's
okay. And do you prefer going to the theater to see a play or watching movies at the cinema?
In our this 21st century, I didn't have this time, as I was born in 2001. I didn't have the time to go to theaters. Like I have seen theaters, the Nobu Theater in Dhaka. Like I have seen that as a monument, a sort of antique piece. I've never gone to watch movies, or I've gone to cinemas. That's a different issue, as because I say it's a modern 21st century. So as being a child from the modern age, I didn't have that chance.
Right. Okay, Mr. Sakib, let's move on to the part 2. In part 2, I'm going to give you a card. On the card, you'll find a topic, and you will also find some guiding questions. Based on the guiding questions, you have to prepare a talk for 1 to 2 minutes, and you are given 1 minute time to take notes. Here is a topic to describe a traditional celebration you like, and here's a piece of paper. and you can take note with the help of this pencil. Okay, your time's up. Would you like to start now?
Yes, thank you for asking me about one of the most favorite topic of mine. That's about traditional celebration. I would like to say you about Pohela Boishak in our country. As being a Bengali, it's one of the prestigious occasion of our country. It's a tradition in every 14th April. It's like we accept the summer in not like a very speculative way, in where like we always enjoy with our friends and family. I especially do it in Chittagong, as we have one of the most renowned place in Bangladesh, like considered as one of the most spectatorable place, that is DC Hill, where we all gather around on 14th April. And actually it sum up with like we always have attires of Punjabi, like the traditionalism we have, means we can it overs up there, like you can see that he is a Bengali. You can, on this by occasion, you can see that he is the person by whom you can relate with his nationality clearly. And we always have a sort of, means a food tradition where we eat panta and ilish. Ilish is one of the like hilcha, you know that in English. It is our national fish, and we have panta bhat, which is from one of the farmers tradition. And later on, we enjoy that one with a lot of crackers, a lot of, means the festival which you can't deny, which represents Bangladesh, which represents Bengalis, and all these things. And I personally like this because I love my country. I want to give my country something. And if I don't know the tradition from the beginning, then how will I be someone to represent my country, as I have got interest to become one of the ministers of Bangladesh, to have a seat in the cabinet to run the country. So overall, it stands that if the culturism, the nationalism which I represent, I should always enjoy that one. And the festival, I always like to represent that. I always like to enjoy that one in our very speculative way. That's the end of my discussion.
Thank you very much. Okay. Uh, do you prefer to celebrate important occasions with a small or large groups of people?
To be very clear, it's always both. Like I can go and meet up with people. I'm very comfortable with everyone. I don't have any sort of like to have in small groups or to have large groups. I don't prefer that one, as I would like have the convincing power, so it goes well with me.
Are you familiar with any celebrations from other countries?
Yes, that's the Christmas. As because when I go outside before Christmas, there is a offer of Black Friday,
Yeah.
for shopping purposes. So I always enjoy Black Friday. So in that case, I always enjoy Christmas. So it's a together issue.
Okay. What sorts of food do you normally find at celebrations?
in Bangladesh or in some
Whatever
other.
you want.
In Bangladesh, we always find the traditional food like during Nabanu Chop, the beginning or the welcoming of new rice, and there we get all sorts of pitas like which you would consider as like waffles and that sort of stuffs. Then we find a lot of enduring winter. We find and again another sort of pitas, that is papa pita. So all these sort of stuffs, like we all have for different tradition. Bangladesh got different sort of foods which I can't define and explain in a short period of time.
Okay, thank you. Now we are moving on to the final part, the third part, where we'll have some discussion on the related topic. First, what are national celebrations? Why are national celebrations important?
uh, for a child, in which country he is born, like a national celebration is very very important for him, because to know his country, to know his motherland, to know his entire background and his entire origin, that's why for this sort of purposes very important. It's very
So, do you
necessary.
think celebrations like Christmas are too commercial?
In some cases, yes. For example, in cases of big cities like New York and Las Vegas and Miami, it's a very posh sort of stuff for Christmas. And moreover, you can't even deny that it's posh, because that cities where were like named in the world. That's the city which never sleeps, the international city, the city of money, and the city a lot of actions. So that was the thing which is a very like overall imbalanced sort of stuff, which is sometimes infutile and sometimes indistinctive, you can't deny.
Okay. Is it important to learn about the culture and customs of other countries?
Yes, it's very important. If you shift to another country or if you travel a lot, then you need to know about their culture. For example, I would like to proceed with example of China. In Bangladesh, we always eat food silently, but in China, you need to eat your food with a noise. If you don't eat your food with a noise, then they would think that the dish was not made or prepared good and you didn't find it enjoyable to enough. So that's the thing, you need to know all other cultures for even for your own development.
Do you think everyone will end up celebrating the same things eventually with the
I-
impact of globalization?
Yes, if you proceed with globalization, and it relates a lot of legal legislature and a lot of speculative things of the government. So if the government proceed and internationally we together up with globalism, then we might see a light at the end of the tunnel. So that would be something you would end up with.
Are some celebrations better than others?
It's always a personal opinion and personal view in which a person will prefer which he likes or which dislikes. For example, I like always Eid and Poila Boishakh, the tradition of Bangladesh. Sometimes I don't find like other tradition like Easter Sunday of other countries not that much interesting, which is interesting according to them, but not for me. So it's obviously a personal opinion.
What do you think accounts for the particular popularity of celebrations like Christmas and Halloween?
It depends on the citizens of the world. There is 7 billion people in the world. If half of them are Christian, is 3.5 or 4.5 of them are Christian. So overall, according to the majority, they wins. So you can't say, you have to judge that one according to the country's perspective. That's the thing, in a country you have to take that amount of people, you have to take rating there, the survey there, so that you can come to a conclusion about that sort of stuff.
Okay, why do you think food plays a big role in most celebrations?
Human body is like a machine. So to run that machine, you need food. And this food, subconsciously or consciously, is one of the most undeniable word or undeniable thing of a favoritism of people. So food is such a thing which is which will always be and is a mandatory part of our like all sort of tradition. Without food, people sometimes visit some places just only for food, like as being for my cases, I always do that one being a foodie guy. So that's the thing.
Okay. Is it important to preserve tradition or should we move with the times more?
Actually, it's a very, very difficult question you have asked, and it's a sort of mentally mentally involved and a mentally like very convinced question. So it's like I would prefer both, as you can't left another one, you can't put afterwards to another one. That's the first thing.
Thank you very much. Your test is over.
Thank you.